So in previous sessions, we have discussed about model pool programming. This concept, which is used to create custom screens based on the business requirement. Although we have standard screens, but if user requires customization of screen, then we will go for module pool programming. So to create module pool programming, whenever we use to create a program, we will set the type as module pool. And also we have discussed every module pool program must have a transaction code. Otherwise, we cannot execute any module pool program. So this is our previous program. So in the previous program, I have created a screen. The name of the screen is one. And in this screen, I have created one input field, sales document, and I have created one button. Suppose if user has executed this one, so this is the custom screen where it is having this title, input field, and button. Suppose I have entered, suppose let me take F for help, 2. So sales document number. If it is there, it will display a message like sales order number is existed in header table. So now I will create two screens today. So yesterday I have created one screen, and within the one screen, if I give the input, it will display a message. But right now, I'll create a tab strip. Tab strip in the sense, suppose if I go to SC11. So if you say this screen, like it is used to create, it is used to display the table details, like what is the table name, short description, and what needs to be done if you want to create a table. Like it needs attributes, delivery and maintenance. So when I have clicked attributes, it will display that particular information. If I display delivery and maintenance, so only two fields are displaying. This is closed now. Like attributes earlier, it was displayed some information, but when I click on delivery and maintenance, that information is closed and new information is displaying, right? So these all we call it as a tabs, like attributes, delivery and maintenance, fields, input help check, currency and quantity fields, index. So these are the tabs which are existed in the screen. Similar way, user want to see a tab which displays sales order header details and sales order item details. So user required two tabs. In this scenario, user required two tabs. One is used to display sales order header details. The other one should display sales order item details. So this is a requirement. So we have to create a tab. To create a tab in SAP, we have, okay, let me open this one. There is an ad. So we have a tab strip element. Whenever we are using a screen elements, in that list, we have a name called tab strip with visa. So if we want to create a tab, we can make use of that element. So let's create 1 second. So it is so this is the tab strip. So the main purpose of tab strip is to display the data or to display the output in the form of tabs. So if we use tab strip with wizard, just we need to give what is the name of the tab strip and how many tabs we required and the tab labels. For example, if I go to this screen, this is a tab strip. And in this tab strip, how many tabs are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tabs are there. So similar way, I need to tell the system like how many tabs I require. And if you see, this is the name of the tab attributes. So with the name, I can understand, okay, this is used to store the generic information. Suppose if I want to create a field, I have to click on this fields tab. So by seeing the name, I will understand what is the purpose of the tab. Similar way, whenever we are creating tabs, tab strip, so we have to give the text of this tab. So these generic information we will pass to the tab strip, like how many tabs we require, what is the name of the tab, the text, like name in the sense, what should be displayed on the tab name. So that we need to provide. And automatically it will be write the logic because it is a predefined step. Whenever we use tab step wizard, SAP will be write the logic. Like when we have to follow few steps. Whenever we will follow the steps, automatically background SAP will write the logic. Okay, so that's it. Let's create it. So my requirement is user need two tabs. One is used to display header information, the other one is item information. So in the header information, user want to see from the VBAK table, sales document number, creation date, and sales document category. So this should be on one tab. In the other tab, item details should be displayed. So in the item, it should display in the form of rows and columns. In the header information, it has to display single record because we already know header table doesn't allow any duplicate records. It will be having single Veblen number. But when it comes to item table, one Veblen can have multiple items. So that is the reason user want to see item details in the form of table. Okay, so user want to see this sales document number, item, material, and the material group. So these four fields information user want to see in the form of rows and columns in another tab. And along with this tab strip, first screen, like let me take a note of that. So user need two screens, two screens. So first screen should be input screen, which has to display sales document number and a button display. So user want to see a title, sales order number or sales order details. Along with that, user need a input field that is sales document number, and also user need a button called display. So user will enter sales document number and will press on display button. When they press on display button in the second screen, it should display sales order, header details in the first tab and sales order item details in the second tab. And it should display multiple records. So this is the requirement. So right now we need two screens. One screen is act as an input, which displays sales document number along with a button display. And in another screen, whenever user will click on display, it has to display a tab. And in the tabs, the first tab should be display sales order header information. Second tab should be display sales order item details. So this item details should be display multiple records. Multiple record in the sense in the form of rows and columns. So this requirement, within the single requirement, we are going to cover two topics today. One is tab strip, which is used to create a tab. And also here I have mentioned it should display multiple records. So multiple records in the sense it has to display the data in the form of table. So to create a table in modular programming, we have an element called table control wizard. So those two topics we will complete in a single requirement. So first we'll create two screens. So I'll go to SC38 transaction code and I'll create a program. So today 18, 2025. Okay. So here tab strip and table control wizard. Paste of tab strip and table control wizard. So whenever we use the type, it should be module pool because we are going to create a module pool program. So click on save, save in your package, then select the TR. So right now, this is SC38 transaction code. We don't see any repository here to access directly screen painter, menu painter, and transaction code. If you want to access these all the screens from this existing transaction code, so you have to click on display object list. So now the repository is displayed here. Oh, my program name is ended up to 51. Okay. Now I will create a screen. So to create a screen, right click on a program name, create screen. Suppose if I create the screen number 100, here I will give input screen. And here I'm going to create normal screen itself. So by default, it is selected as normal. And in this screen, I'm going to create input field. So to create the elements on the screen, click on layout. Here I will display a text. Double click on a element name. Here give the text name like T1 for the text name. And you can give any name on this column. And I'll write here sales order details input screen. Sales order details inputs screen. Okay. So I'll save this one. Next, I need a field input field from VBAK table. So instead of creating manually, I'll create directly from the table itself. So here I'll give VBAK as a table name and I'll choose get from dictionary. So I require only one field as an input field, that is Veblen. So after selecting the field name, click on continue. Place it wherever you want to place it. And this is for input. So so let me save it. 1 second now. It has to come. Okay. So now what is the name of the field? VBAK, VBLN. So this name we have to remember because whenever we will write the logic to fetch from the database table, this we are passing as an input, right? So this name we require when we write the logic. What is the name of the field? VBAK, VBLN. If you want to modify it, you can modify it. So, and also I need a button called display. Let me place the button here today. So text is T2. Name I'll give it as get data. And here I have to give function code. So function code is get. I'll save it. So this is like an input screen for the user. And for this entire thing, I will put a frame. So this act as a frame. So I can move this one wherever I want to place the position on the screen. So this is like a frame. If you want to keep it as a frame, you can choose the element as box. And once it is done, save it. And you must activate it. So before activating, close this one and activate it. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time in the practice server. So it is activated now, 100 screen. So in the 100 screen, I have created input screen. 1 second. So, okay. So first screen is created. So first screen related logic. I will write it now. So to go to the logic, just click on the flow logic. And so my requirement is whenever user will enter the input, click on the display button. It should call the second screen. In the second screen, we will create a tab strip control. Okay. So that logic I will write it here. So whenever user click on your button display, then only it should go to the second screen. As of now, I haven't created second screen. I will create it second screen. So before creating, let me write the logic. So where should I write the logic? Whenever user click on button display, I should call the second screen that is 200. And suppose I will create a screen called 200. So this related logic should I write on PBO event or PAI event?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. PAI event because I'm talking about button. Whenever user is interacting with the button, we have to write the logic under PAI event. So double click on the module name. And if you want to create in a new program, you can click on new include. So here I will write mm, case sci.com. And here button name I have given get data. Function code I have given it as a get. So case when get. So whenever user click on get data button, this function code will be generated. At that time, it has to call the second screen. So I will create one more screen here. So before that, I will write the logic like call screen. So to call the new screen, we will write the statement call screen, screen number. So to call a new screen into the program or to call a new screen as an output screen, we will write the logic call screen, screen number. So which screen number you want to call, you need to specify it here. I have written 200. End case. So here uh, user will enter the input. So that related logic I will write here. Select single VBELN from VBAK into. So user will enter a single VBLN. For example, mm, if I go to so here user will enter single VBLN number. Imagine that this is not there from 2 onwards. So single WebLAN user will enter here, and imagine that here instead of execute, here we are writing a button name called get data. So whenever I click on get data, it has to fetch VBLN number from VBAK table. After that, whatever the sales order header information I want to display, item information I want to display, that information I will write, display it in a new screen. So first I have to get this data, like sales order number, I have to get it from VBAK table and it should be ready on the application layer. Meaning, first I will check it whether the user entering number is exist in the table or not. If it is existed, then in the new screen, it has to call the header data and item data. So single value, like user is entering only one input value in the scenario. So for the single value, which data media we use to store it? Only single value.
Variable.
Yes, variable. So first I will select single VBLN from VBAK, then I will store into a variable. So here I will create a variable at the top of the program, data LV VBELN type VBAK VBLN. So I will select single VBLN from VBAK and I will store into LV VBLN, where here I have a condition because the user is entering the input value, right? Here user is entering the input value. If this input value is matched with the table entry, then only it should call the second screen. Otherwise, it should display message, enter the valid number. If the sales order number is exist in the table, then it will be display the data. If it is not exist in the table, suppose I have written some data. If it is not existed, see no table entry spawned for the specified key. How it is displaying a message? Similar way I have to display to the end user. If the values existed, it has to display the data. Else, it has to display a message. So for that, where we are entering the input here, I am entering the input in the table here itself. But logically, where we are entering on the screen, right? I have created a screen number 100. If I go to 100 and the layout, here user is entering the input. Here, like a user will enter whatever the input value 2, 3, 4, whatever the value. Then user will click on get data. But I have created this input screen in SC51 transaction code. I mentioned directly I'm accessing this screen in the program with the help of this button, this one, display user list. But this is actually happening with the help of SC51 transaction code. So I have created input screen in SC51 transaction code, but I'm writing the logic in SC38. How the system will be recognized, which input field a user is entering. So we need to create a link between the logic and screen. So that is the reason I told you to remember this field name. So what is the input field name? VBAK VBLN. So this one I have to use in the program. So if I go to here, if WebLAN is equal to VBAK VBELN. Generally in the reports program, if we create a parameter, here we used to write parameter name. Suppose if we create a select option, here we used to write select option. So there logically we have written the logic, but here we are creating a screen. So the whenever we are creating a screen element, the name of the screen element we have to pass it here. Always remember. And this name you can find in layout. So this program layout, you need to go to the layout and click on the field. You will get this name. So if size sabarsi equal to 0, call screen 200, meaning whatever the user has entered the input. Suppose here user has entered 10 and it will go to VBAK table and it will search in VBLN column. In VBAK, we have how many fields are there? In VBAK, we have, I think, 246 fields are there. So 246 fields are nothing but 246 columns are there. But we are fetching only sales document number, right? So that is the reason I have taken select single WebLAN here. So that one column, which value user is entering, that value will be fetched. Um, Suppose if user has entered, it will go to this column. In this column, it will search for 2. If it is existed, then it will call 200 screen. If it is not existed, it will write a message. Else, message, no entry found for the specified sales document number. And I'll write it as, like I'll display it as an information message. If must be closed by end if. So in the input screen, we have only one field, that is sales document number. We are fetching from the database table VBAK. And if it is existed in VBAK table, whatever user is entering the input value, we will store in a variable. And if it is existed, then we are calling a screen called 200. If it is not existing in the table, it will display information message. Suppose if it is existed in the table, then I'm calling new screen. So in that new screen, I will create a tab strip. So before calling this one, like here I haven't created the screen. Let me create the screen with 200. Click on create screen, and here I'll write 200. So this is to display sales order header and item details. So I'll save it. I'll go to the layout. So in this layout, this is a 200 screen. So in this 200 screen, as I mentioned, I will create a tab strip. So tab strip in the sense like this tabs I need. Like how many tabs I need? 2 tabs I need. So I'll go to this screen again. To create the tab strip, here we have tab strip with wizard. Choose this one. SAP will write the logic in the backend. Just we need to give few information. Okay. So this element used to create a tab strip. And so these are the steps which we need to follow, like start, name of tab strip control, tab title definition, assignment on the tabs, set includes, set tab strip control. So these steps we need to finish. So right now we haven't started. So this is indicating we haven't started. If you see, remaining steps are indicating with red color, meaning we haven't completed those steps. Once we complete each step, it will be turned from red color to green color. So until the last step, we have to give the proper information to the system. If you want to learn in detail, you can read this one. And so first you need to click on continue. So we have started. So we already started. So first one as changed as a green color. Now we are at the second step. So what is the second step? Name of the tab strip control. Like whenever we have created any element in SE51 transaction code, we have given a unique name. It might be a button, it might be a text element, it might be a what we call input output field. So whatever the screen elements we are using, we have to give a name so that system will be recognized. So here I will give tab strip control. So I'll give tab. And next you need to click on continue. So in this screen, just we have entered tab. So this is the tab strip name. In which screen you are going to create? On the screen number 200. Click on continue. So second step is completed now. See, second step is turned as a green color. Now, how many tabs you require? You need to specify the names here. Suppose I require 2 tabs. One is to display header details. So here I will write header. Sales order header, and then I will write sales order item. Sales order item. So I need two tabs only. So two tabs text I have written. So sales order header, it will be display. Mm, So here how attributes is visible on this tab. Similar way, I have given sales order header. So that will be visible like this. And the other one sales order item that will be display here. Here how we are able to see attributes, delivery and maintenance fields, and the remaining tabs are there. The text, if you want to display, we have to specify it here. Tab text, you can see clearly. Once you have entered, click on continue. Now third step also completed. Now we are going to fill fourth step. This is the important step. Like here, before explaining this one, mm, here I have clicked on attributes tab. So the generic information is displayed. Whenever I click on table delivery and maintenance, that related information is displayed. If I click on fields, it is displays the fields details. How the system is recognizing whenever user click on this tab, it should display this information. Or whenever you click on this tab, it has to display some other information. How system will recognize? Any idea? If not, suppose if I click on this activate, how system is recognizing I'm activating the program or table. Or if I click on table entries, how the system is recognizing that I need to display the table entries. This you already learned, right? How system is recognizing. If I click on this button or if I click on this button or this one, how it is recognizing.
Backend code.
No, like I'm asking, if I click on activate, how system recognize that should be activate the program or a table. Or in our scenario, I have created as an input screen, sales document and display. Whenever user click on button, sorry, get data. So whenever user click on get data button, how the system will recognize that I need to get the data from the tables?
Program name.
No. Function code, whenever we are interacting with buttons or GUI elements, a function code is generated. If you could remember, when we have created at user command event in classical report or ALV report, I have used a statement set PF status name. In the status name, I have created a button like display button, sort button. So for the buttons, I have created a function code. So with the help of function code only, whatever we write the logic, that will be executed. Suppose if I click on display button, how it is fetching from the database table with the help of function code. Because I will write the logic when user will click on this function code, this logic should be executed. So like that I will write in my logic. Similar way, here SAP is creating. AppStrip is wizard. SAP will write the logic. So how the SAP will recognize whether user is clicking on, suppose if this is example, if user is click on attributes button, it should display technical information or generic information. If user click on fields tab, it should display all the fields information. How the system is recognizing if I'm interacting with this tab or this tab. So whenever we click on the tab, even for tabs also it will generate a function code. So depending on the function code, system will execute the logic. Uh, Suppose in the backend they have written as if user is click on attributes tab, it has to display the generic information. If user has clicked on fields tab, a backend function code is there. So with that function code, this logic will be executed. Similar way, whenever we use tab strip control, see for the first tab, this is the function code. So whenever user click on the first tab, that related logic will be displayed with the help of this function code. Whenever I click on, like user click on the second tab, with the help of this function code, the logic will be displayed. And also here, one more column is there, subscreen. So here, I think, so we have four types of screens I have mentioned in the initial class of this module programming. Normal screen, subscreen. So normal screen in the sense, whatever we are creating the elements till now, those are comes under normal screen. Subscreen in the sense, this subscreen, this subscreen also used to create all the elements. But this subscreen, whatever we are creating, that can be called into another screen also. Meaning, if I create anything on the subscreen, that I can merge onto a main screen. So subscreen is in the sense it is like a sub part of a screen. Like in modulation techniques, we have include programs, main program. So in the main program, we can insert include program, or in the main program, we can insert subroutines. So subroutines are nothing but sub programs. Similar way, normal screen in the sense main screen. And within the main screen, if you want to merge a subscreen, like a sub part of a screen, that can be inserted with the help of this type of screen, subscreen. So this is reusable. You can insert this subscreen into any other screens also. Like in the modulation technique, how we can use subroutines or include programs into another programs. Similar way, subscreen also we can call into any other main screen also. This is like a reusable purpose. And also, whenever we are using tab strip, whenever we are using tab strip, each tab data is displaying. Suppose this is the main screen. If you look at from table here at the end to this end, this completely a main screen. This we call it as a normal screen or main screen. And if you see from here onwards, attributes, this rectangle shape, if you see from attributes down to here, this rectangle shape one, we call it as a subscreen area. If I click on attributes, that information is displaying. If I click on delivery and maintenance, the previous information is vanished. So how it is possible? With the help of subscreen. So we can create a sub part of a screen, because whenever we are using tab strip, so each tab can contain different information. But how can we merge on a single screen? That is with the help of subscreen. So in the subscreen, we can able to create these elements with the help of a subscreen area. If I go to, okay. So whenever we create subscreen, automatically a subscreen area is generated. Meaning, if I create any elements on the subscreen area, like here, if you see delivery class and this information, this is displaying under the subscreen. So this area, wherever it is visible, that is we call it as a subscreen area. It's like a placeholder. The sub part of a screen, whatever the elements are there, that will be stored in a container called subscreen area. So main screen we call it as a normal screen. In the main screen, we can insert a subscreen. So on the subscreen, you can put or you can create any data element. Oh, sorry. You can create any screen element with the help of subscreen area. So subscreen area in the sense which is used to contain all the screen elements information. So these all information, how can we do with the help of subscreen area? And why we are using the subscreen area? To construct all the screen elements. Once you constructed this subscreen, we will call into a main screen with the help of a syntax. call subscreen area. So there is a syntax. With the help of the syntax, we will call this subscreen into a main screen to merge this subscreen and into the main screen. But in this case, system will generate the logic. So I will show you that logic, even the syntax also. But when it comes to a concept, we have object-oriented ALV. At that time, we have to write the logic. So now, okay, I'll go to here. So subscreen area. So this is a subscreen 201. This is a subscreen 202. So for the first tab, whatever the information I want to display in the first tab, that will be created in the subscreen area. And second tab information, it will be stored in this subscreen area. So the every subscreen has a specific function code. Like whenever user click on the first function code, or whenever user click on the first tab. So imagine that this is the tabs text, like sales order header. Um, Sales order header. Suppose here sales order header is there. Whenever user click on this one, system will be recognized with the help of this function code. Then in the subscreen area, whatever you have created, these fields like delivery class data browser, that will be visible to us. Okay. Um, let's click on continue. So now this step set includes. You can create includes like for PBO event and PA event, system will automatically write it. If you want to change the name, you can change it. I'm keeping as it is. And so it will be display like overview of information. What is the subscreen area names, and what is the technical information. So you want to read, you can read it. And once it is done, you can click on complete. Now see, tab strip is created. If I click on sales order header information, like this is the first tab. See, one rectangle box is highlighted here, this rectangle box. And if I click on the name, tab SCA is there. Okay. And if I click on second tab and this rectangle button, okay. This is the tab name. 1 second. Tab 1. Okay. This is tab 1 and this is a tab 2. So for first tab, text I have given as sales order header. And for the second tab, I have given the name as sales order item. And if I click on this one, here a rectangle box is there, right? So this rectangle box is nothing but subscreen area. If you see element type on the top, if you see the element type, what is the name of the element type? Subscreen area. So this subscreen area is nothing but with the help of this subscreen area, whatever I will create the screen elements, I can call into the main screen. I can call into the main screen. So before calling, I will merge it. So I will create separately this subscreen area, then I will merge in the subscreen. So let me save this one and I'll close it. I'll activate this one. If you look at the screens, I have created only 100 and 200. But if you see, 201, 202 also created. So whenever I have created tab strip control, it was shown 201, 202 are subscreens. If I select and double click on it, see what is the dintro type? Subscreen. So this is for the first tab. See, short description, sales order header. So for the first tab, whatever the information you want to display, meaning whatever the information like this, whatever the information, this is in the form of rows and columns. So if you want to if you want to display this information, you can create in this screen. And if you want to create anything in the items tab, so this is for item, sales order item. So if you want to display anything on the sales order item tab, you can create with the help of this screen. So if you see, the radio button is also a subscreen. So subscreens will be generated based on the tabs. I have two tabs, so system has generated two subscreens. Suppose if I have three tabs, system will be generated three subscreens. And once we create the layout, we will merge together. If I go to 200, already system will write the logic. If I go to flow logic, see here there is a logic. Call subscreen. I told you we will call the subscreen. So this is the subscreen name. I have shown you in the properties tab under the layout. See, call subscreen name. So we will call the subscreen like this. So this is the syntax. Call subscreen including program name and screen number. So we will write the screen number also, but system has written the logic like this in the backend. Now I'll go to create the layout for the header table. So in the header table, user want to display or user want to see sales order number, creation date, DB type, where are you here? So these three fields information, it should be display on the first tab. So here, if you see, these are the input fields. Like user can enter the input value, but I should make it as an output field. User will enter the input in the first screen itself, then automatically this has to be filled. So this one we should make it as an output field. To change it as output field, something has written here. Go to the properties and click on the program. There is a checkbox input field. Uncheck it. So it will be change it as an output field. Similar way you need to do for remaining output fields. So here also go to program, uncheck the input field. And here also double click, uncheck the input field. Now these three are the output fields for sales order header tab. I will save it and I'll activate this one. So layout has created, but I haven't written the logic. So I will write the logic now. So this related logic, whenever user click on whenever user click on get data, automatically whatever I have created just now, this data should be filled. Like before it is displaying the tab strip, it should fill this information like sales document number, creation date, sales document category. So before displaying the tab strip, it should fill the details. How it fill the details, on which module I have to write the logic, PB or PI. Which is the right one? Yes.
PBO.
Yes, PBO. Because before displaying the tab strip, it should be ready with the data. It should fill the data and it should be ready. So that is the reason I will write the logic under PBO event. So uncomment this one, and here I'm everything writing in the master program itself. You can create new include. So here I will write select from header table. I need uh, VBELN, ERDAT, VB type from VBAK table, and I will store into a table. So here, based on the header information like sales order number which user is entering in the first screen, the same sales order number header information it should be displayed, and the corresponding item details also should be displayed in the items tab. So to achieve this one, here I will use for all entries concept. So if you are using for all entries concept, we have to create a structure, internal table and structure. So I will create the structure for header table. Types, begin of TYVBAK, end of TYVBAK. So here I need VBLN from VBAK table. Yeah, that also. It is also from VBAK table. Then VB type. VB type. So I have created the structure. Once we create the structure, I need internal table. So I did type table of TYVBAK. Along with that, I need work area also. So work area also structure type. So I'll scroll down. I'll store into table IT VBAK. But here we have a condition where VBLN is equal to. So as I mentioned in the first screen, user will enter the input, right? Based on this input, it should fetch from the database table. So what is our input here? Sales document number. So if you see the sales document number, what is the input name? VBAK VBLN. So this input I will use here in the logic. So where VBLN is equal to user is entering the input, right? So the input field name is VBAK VBLN. So this is entering in the 100 screen. Based on the user input, it will go to VBAK table, and in VBAK 246 columns are there. But we are going to VBLN column only. As I mentioned, fields are nothing but columns. So it will go to VBLN column and it will search for the input. Suppose if user has given 10, then it will go to VBAK table. In VBLN column, if it is existed 10, it will be stored in this internal table, right? So then, and it has to fill the details which I have constructed in the screen layout. So to fill the details, let me save it first of all. I'll go to the screen layout to show you once again. So what is the header information? It has to display single value. If you see, it will be display only one value, like single value, sales document number, creation date, sales document category. But I have created internal table, right? I created internal table, and in this internal table, we know that it will be existed with single value, single record only, because it is a header table. But whenever we want to display a single record from the internal table, should I go for loop statement or read statement? Which is the correct one?
Read Shipun.
Yes, read statement. So always remember, if you are going to read a single record, we will use read statement. If you are going to read multiple records, then we'll go for loop statement. So right now we are going to read single record. So use read table statement. Read table. Let me write a statement, because if user is enter a input, if it is there, then only it should be read. So for that, let me write if size about say is equal to 0, then it should be. We write Good to write first itself if and end if. Read table, internal table into work area. So we are going to read single record. So in this case, we can use index number. So it will be read from the first index. So here we are reading single record. So single record which is existed in the internal table. So whenever it is storing in the internal table, in the left side, it will be stored as a rows. Rows in the sense index number. So index number will be begin from 1. So it will check from the index number 1. If it is found the record, then it will be displayed in the output screen. So earlier, if you want to display the output, we used to write a statement called write, WRIT. But now we are not writing in the output screen. We are going to display already. We have created a screen. So to that screen, we need to pass this work area values. So in this work area right now, three fields are there. So these three fields value, we need to map to the screen elements. As of now, we have created the screen element. If you let me go again. If I go to layout, this is the screen element, right? So this screen element is having VBAK sales document creation date, sales document category. Already it is constructed. Earlier I have written in the right statement this field label and field value. But right now field label is already existed, field value also there, but it is empty. So I need to map to this field value. Like I need to map here. So to map it, we need this screen element name VBAK VBLN. And for this, VBAK ERDAT. And for this, VBAK VB type. So whatever we are getting from the internal table, we have to pass to the screen elements. So first we will fetch from the database table, we will store in the internal table. And from the internal table, we are reading the single record into the work area. Then from the work area, we need to map to the screen element because it is not a report program which we are writing top of page event under the uh, field labels and field values. We are not writing like that. So to map to this screen elements, we need these names. So always remember before writing the logic, you need to check the names of each field. And once you get it, close this one. And if I go to this, so here I will map it. So right now everything is in the work area. So from the work area, I will map to the screen element. Whenever we are mapping in the sense we are passing the value, like how we are passing the input value to this internal table, or sorry, to this table. Similar way, we need to pass the values to the screen element. So whenever we are passing the values, so how do we pass the values? Like existed value and how to pass to the new data medium. Either it should be left or right. Like right now, values are existing in the work area. So from this work area, I need to pass to the screen elements. So screen element should be on the left hand side or right hand side. Which side we have to maintain? Any idea?
Left hand side.
Very good, left hand side. So whenever we are passing into new data medium, that should be on the left side. And the input means already the value is existed. That should be on the right side. If you could remember, this we are passing as an input. This will be having the value. I have given on the right side. And here also new values like screen elements. So for the first screen element, it has a name VBAK, VBELN. So this one, let me open one more session to show you parallelly. GSM 251. Okay. If I go here, mm, screen 200, no, 201. If I go to layout, if I double click on this first one, see what is the name? VBAK VBLN. So first I will get it from table, then I will store into internal table. Then from the internal table, I will read one record, and so that one record will be stored in this work area. As we know, work area can store at a time one record. So in the work area, for the column 1, VBLN. So in the screen, which is the first element is their sales document number. For sales document number, which field we are using in the work area? That is VBELN field. So from the work area, VBELN value, whatever we are getting from this internal table, we are passing to the first screen element. So first screen element is nothing but here it will be saved, here in this place. And similar way, I need to fill the second screen element, creation on. So for creation date, we have a field ERDAT. So this we are fetching from the database table. Then we are storing in the internal table. And after that, we are reading. So once we are reading the record, it will be stored in the work area. So in the work area, to store the creation date, we have a field name called ERDAT. And screen element, I have to check the screen element. So double click on this one. What is the name of the screen element? VBAK ERDAT. So the same name, I have to pass it here. And similarly, we will do for the third one also. So third one, what is the screen element name? VBAK VB type. So I will change it here for the third one, VBAK VB type. And in the work area, to store the sales document category, we have a field name called VB type. So same name. One second now. Where it went here. Right. So here we have mapped whatever we are getting from the internal table. We are reading into work area. From work area, we have mapped it to the what we call the screen elements. So if it is existed, it will happen. Else, we will write a message. Else, okay, already in the beginning of the screen itself, we have written the else part. So here it is not required. Because if it is not there, it will be stopped in the first screen itself. So here VBAK VBELN is unknown. It is showing VBAK VBELN is unknown. Why? Because this is showing at a field 25th line. So this I have given as an input field. Where I have given as input field in the screen 100. If I go to screen 100, here it is VBAK VBLN. I have created VBAK VBLN in SC51 transaction code. So that is the reason in SC38 transaction code, system is not recognizing what is meant by VBAK VBLN. So that is the reason we have to create a tables parameter, like where it is existing in the VBAK table, right? So we have to define the table name here. This is a generic error. Whenever you create it, you will also get this error. So simply you can write the table name, VBAK. Now that error is not there. Because in the creation of the screen element, I have chosen like it should be get it from the dictionary level. So that system will be recognized in SC51 transaction code. But in SC38 transaction code, it is not recognizing. So that is the reason we have to declare the table. Now, just let me activate this one and we'll see how it is created. As of now, second one also, okay. Second tab I haven't written. So it won't be visible anything in the second tab. So let me activate this one and we'll see at least the screen designing part. Okay. So let me activate. So can I execute this program? Do we get output?
No, we have to transaction.
Very good. We have to create a transaction code. Always remember, whenever we are going to create module program, it should create or it must have a transaction code. Otherwise, we cannot execute. So I have to create a transaction code for this. Okay. So to create a transaction code, right click on the program name. Always remember, check this program name. Click on create transaction, or else you can go to SC93 transaction code and you can create it. Either way, it will work. So let me create the tab strip and table control, TBTC. So here I will give module pool T code. So whenever we are using module pool program, we have to choose the first radio button, and here we can give the program name. So this is the program name and screen number. So in this all screen numbers, which is the first screen number? 100, which I have given as an input screen. So here you need to give the initial screen number. Then you need to check this all boxes. We already discussed this one at the time of transaction code creation. Save it. And once it is done, double click on the program name, activate once again, because we have created transaction code. Once it is activated, you can execute it. You can execute in a new window or else directly. But if I execute directly, again, again, I need to access the SC38 transaction code. So that is the reason I will execute in a new window. So see, this is our input screen. I have given as a sales order details input screen as a title or text. Here, sales document number, which is used to give the sales document number as an input. I can take F for help, or else we can enter the value manually. Suppose if I enter the value and if I click on get data, see, header data is filled to creation date. See how it is filled, because I have mapped in the program. If I go to the logic, see here I have mapped it. I haven't used any write statement, but still it is filled because it is a screen element. So you need to fill the screen element. So these are the screen elements. So it is filled. If I click on sales order detail, item detail, see it is empty. I haven't created one more screen. What is that screen number? 202. If I open the layout, see nothing is there. I haven't created this one. So that is the reason it is showing empty. But in the first is header tab, I have created this one in the subscreen area. See, it is showing subscreen area, subscreen number 201. So in the subscreen 201, this one, whatever I have created, it is displaying for the first tab. See, this is the subscreen 201. But in the which screen number I have created the tab, if I close this one, if I go to layout, oh, it is not changed. Okay. So if I go to screen number 200, see where I have created the tab. I have created tab under 200 screen. And the sales order header details. The sales order header details information, as I mentioned, we will create in the subscreen. So the subscreen number is 201. 201 for the header information. And if you see 201 subscreen, this is the first tab. First tab information. In the subscreen, I have created the layout. Whenever user click on this one, that particular subscreen data will be displayed. So this is the main screen. In the main screen, we have subscreens. So how the subscreens are there? Each tab has a own subscreen area. If I click on this one, previous subscreen will be removed. If I click on this one, previous one will be removed. So in this way, we will create it. Now, to create sales order number. Sales header information can have only single sales order number, but when it comes to item, it can have multiple items for single document. So user doesn't want this type of display the data in the sales order item because it might be have multiple records. So in this tab, user want to see a table which displays sales order number. Then let me go to the table once. Sales order number, sales document number, material, material group. So these four fields information. So if I tell you exactly, let me go to system settings, choose fields. So let me choose from here. User wants to see Veblen, Postnar, Matnar, and this four fields. Apply. And based on the user input, suppose I have entered sales document number 2. See, so it has to display like this: sales document, item, material, material group. And if it is having multiple items, it will display multiple rows. But for the sales order, only one item is there. I believe for 15 is having multiple items. Let me see. Yes. See, for the sales order number 15, it is having 2 line items. So it has to display like this table with 4 columns. So whenever I want to display a table, first I need to construct how many columns I require. So how to create these columns? How do we create these columns logically? Any idea? For internal table, how do you create the columns for the internal table? We are fetching data from the database table, but how system will be knowing user wants to see only 4 fields data, 5 fields data?
By using structure.
Yes, by using structure. So even for table control also. So right now I'm going to discuss another screen element. So we have seen tab strip. And if user want to see the data in the form of table, we use one more screen element, that is table control. We have this one. Okay, table control with wizard or table control. So this screen element is used to display the data in the form of table. So table in the sense it contains rows and columns. And if you are using table control with wizard, SAP will write the logic. Just we need to give few details like what is the name of the table, how many columns you required, the name of the columns. So those details we have to pass to the table control with wizard, and SAP will generate the logic automatically. So to achieve this one, the prerequisite is before we use table control with wizard, we have to create structure and internal table first itself, internal table work area. So these are the prerequisite, because whenever we create a table control with wizard, it will be ask us what is your table control, like what is the internal table, what is the structure name in the program. So those we have to pass it. So before we pass, first we have to create it. So these are the two prerequisites. Before we are using table control with wizard, we have to create the structure, internal table, work area in the program. Otherwise, we cannot access it. I will show you that also. So here, let's create a structure. Types, begin of TY VBAP. So this one will be display the item details. TY VBAP. And here, VBELN, type, VBAP, VBLN. You can write with the data element name. Postnar, type, VBAP, Postnar. Then Matnar, type VBAP, Matnar. MATKL, type VBAP, MATK, MATKL. Let me see. Is it MATKL only? Correct, MATKL. Okay, MATKL is empty in the table I have seen. So let's take other field instead of MATKL. Let's take PSTYV, item type. PSTYV. So instead of material group, I'm taking this one because it is empty in the table. So let's take the value which is existed. Now, for this, we need internal table and work area because it will display in the form of table. So to create that, we need internal table. So ITVBAP type table of structure name. So structure name is TYVBAP. And I believe here we don't require. So let's see. Okay, we require work area also. Work area VBAP type TYVBAP. You need to save it and activate it. So before we create table control with wizard, you have to create the structure, internal table work area, and your program must be activated. Suppose if it is not activated, whatever we have created internal table and work area, it won't be reflected. So that is the reason we need to activate it. So always remember, whenever we create table control with wizard, so the main purpose of table control with wizard is use it to create the data in the form of table. So to achieve that, we have to create structure, internal table work area first itself, and along with that, we have to be activate our program. Once these steps are done, go to the subscreen area. So this is the subscreen area which has to display the data of item. So here you can see sales order item, and this is a subscreen. It is not a main screen. And if I go to layout, in this layout, I will create the table control. So to create the table control, here we have a screen element called table control with wizard. Select it and drag it. Now we need to follow these steps, like how we have given few details for tab strip. Similar way, we need to pass few steps here. And here, initially, the first one we are going to be start, which we are entering, that will be indicated with the triangle, and the remaining which needs to be done, that will be appear with red icon. Once we complete the step, it will be changed as a green icon. So let's continue. So we have started, it is turned as a green. And now we are in this step. So it is indicating triangle. The remain needs to be complete. So it is displaying with the red color. So you need to give the tab name of the table control. Like for tab strip, I have given tab. For table control, I will give TBC. Once you give the name, click on continue. So we have given table control. So if we create manual internal table, like we are giving the internal like structure name, and in the structure how many columns are there, based on that system will be generated. But here, so here we need to give the internal table, because if you want to display all the table fields from the database table, we can choose dictionary table. But right now we want to display only specific fields, that too only 4 fields. So I have to choose the radio button internal program table. So in my program already there is an internal table which I created structure for 4 fields. So to access it, just you can use F for help. See, in my program, I have 2 internal tables. So those 2 internal tables are visible here. So that is the reason I told you, before you create table control with wizard, you have to create internal table, work area, and structure. Without structure, you cannot access internal table because we have to fill this data here. That is the reason I told you, before you are going to create table control wizard, you have to create structure, internal table, and work area. Now choose the relevant internal table. This is for item. So for item, I have the internal table. IT And then we have the work area also. Again, you can use the F for help. This is a relevant one, work area VBAP. So you can see from active program, if it is not activated, you won't see these names here. So once you fill this information, click on continue. Suppose you have entered something mistake, you can click on back and you can change it. Okay, but don't do any mistakes because in the backend code will be generated based on our input here. Now if I click on continue, see these field names, how system will be knowing I need these only 4 fields from the database table because I have given here internal table. So system will go to this program and it will go to this internal table. It will check what is the type of structure for this internal table. So this internal table, I have created the structure with 4 fields. So that 4 fields are visible. So these 4 fields I want to see in the output, right? So I will check it all. Once you select it, click on continue. And it is asking, these are input type or output type. So these are output type. So I will choose the radio button output only. And if we need the column headings, this has to be checked with column headers because if we don't know this column headings, how the user will understand this information is belongs to sales document or item or material. So we need field labels. So how we will get the field names, field labels with the help of this option with column header. But if it is a report, we used to write under the top of page event with write statement in the classical report. But here we can check this box and click on continue. These are not required. And you can like whenever we display the data, if it is having large amount of data, like we will scroll it, right? Suppose if I remove this one, if I execute, suppose if I want to see the remaining data, I will scroll down, right? Like this. So similar way, it is asking, do you want to scroll the data? Yes, I want to scroll the data. As of now, we don't have any input field. Everything we have selected as output. So that is the reason these two options are disabled. Suppose if you have any input type, then these options will be enabled. So as of now, it is disabled. You can ignore it. It will generate includes for each module. Click on continue. And once it is finish all the steps, click on complete. See, it has created a table. VBLN, Postner, Matner. Let me drag this one. Suppose if I do this side, PSTYP also there. So 4 fields. You can, okay, let it be. So you can scroll down, scroll up. So like that you can do. So this table, how it is generated with the help of table control wizard. How these columns are appeared with the help of internal table, which we have mentioned at the time of table control wizard steps. So in that internal table, there are 4 fields in the structure. So with the help of that, it has built 4 columns. Once it is done, save it and close this one. Let's activate it. But this related logic system will be generate, but system will not generate which fields we required. So that logic is our duty to write. If I go to 202 screen, flow logic, see TBC is nothing but my table control wizard name and it has written the logic. If you are using table control, we used to write this logic in the PBO event and PAI event, like internal table work area with control table wizard because it is having multiple rows, right? So multiple rows means we used to write loop statement. And so our requirement is whenever user entered the input on the first screen, automatically it should fill the second screen data, header data and item data. But right now that logic is not yet written. Like how many fields I want to fetch from the database table, that logic is not yet written. So that logic we have to write. But which logic system has written? It has written the table control wizard, and how once we get the data into our internal table, how should we loop it with the help of table control wizard? That logic it has written. But the required information we have to write. So to write the logic, I'll go to PBO event, because whenever user enter in the input 100 screen, it should fill the data in the 200 screen. First itself, it should fill the data. Before it appears, it should be fill the data. So I will write the logic under PBO. So in the PBO, we have the module name TBC change ACTTR. If I double click on it, so this is related to the PBO event. Within the module and end module, I will write the logic. So it has to select 4 fields. 4 fields are nothing but VBLN, PostNar, MATNAR, PSTYV from VBAP. Then it should be stored into table, internal table IT VBAP. And we have a condition where VBLN is equal to from the header. So from the header, which WebLAN we are displaying, the same WebLAN we will display from the item table. So in the header means header table, header information we are displaying VBLN with the help of work area. So that is act as an input here. Work area VBAK, VBLN. Save it, check it, activate it. Now I'll go to main program. I'll activate the main program and I will execute in a new window. So let's see now. So let me check 15. It is having 2 line items. So I have entered the input and I will click on this button. Whenever I click on this button, in our logic, let me open parallelly so that you will understand clearly. This is not required. Okay, if I go to 100, this one. So this logic will be executed. Get, whenever I click on get data button, whenever I click on get data button, let me close this too. Whenever I click on get data, so whatever the logic I have written, for this, that will be executed. Let's 1 second. This is from the yesterday's program. Let me close this too. Okay. So whatever the logic I have written under the get, so this will be executed, meaning it will fetch VBLN from VBAK table and it will be see if this input is exist in the VBAK table, like whatever I have written the input, whether it is exist in the VBAK table or not. If it is existed, automatically it will call the next screen. So if you have seen the logic, here I have written call screen 200. So in 200 screen, what we have designed the layout that will be displayed. If I double click on the 200 screen, sometimes it will take few seconds to display. So if I go to 200 screen, see this is the tab strip, it will be displayed. If you see in the output also it has displayed the same. And first by default it will be displayed the first tab, sales order header. But this information you don't find in this layout. See, it will be display only tab strip. But in the first tab, what you want to see, that will be appear under the subscreen area. So this is the subscreen for the first tab. If I go to layout, see, this is visible. Sales document, creation date, document category. If I go to output, see, same thing is there. As I mentioned, whenever we use tab strip, we have to create a subscreen to display the sub part of the screen, which is related to the first tab, and corresponding information will be appear at the bottom. Similar way, for the second screen, whatever the subscreen area we have created, that will be visible here. See, in the second screen, I have created a table control. If I go to 202, this is for the subscreen area for see, this is the subscreen area for sales order item. How I have created, similar way it is displaying. And this data is filled because before displaying, like before calling the screen itself, I want to fill this information. So that is the reason I have written the logic under PBO event. So based on the input, sales document number will be filled, along with that item details also filling here. So here this table is visible with the help of a screen element called table control, and these tabs are visible with the help of a screen element called tab strip. Any doubts in this? Suppose if I want to go back to the input screen, there is no back button here. If you see, there is no back button. Suppose if I want to go back to the input screen, so I have to create a back button here. So to achieve that, we have to go to main screen. Always remember, we should not create own functions under the subscreen area. So what is the main screen? 200. So for the second screen, which is the main screen name 200. In this main screen only, I have to create it. Like this is the tab strip, right? So before displaying here, I want to display back button here. To achieve that, I will go to PBO event. This is the module for PBO event. This is a system generated module. This is the uh, default module. So if I double click on this one, it will be allow us to enter the set PF status name. See, set PF status name. So here I can create own functions. Suppose ZPF I have given. If you want to display the heading or title, you can enable the bottom one also. PF function. So I need only back button. So go to the function keys, enter back, activate it. So just I have enabled the button, but this related information, like whenever user click on back, it should come back to the first screen. So that information I have to write under PAI event because it is related to the interaction of button. Like whenever user click on back, meaning we are interacting with the button. Whenever we are interacting with the button, that logic we have to write under PAI event. So in this PAI, this is one module and this is the another module. So this module is belongs to tab strip control. So I don't write the logic in this tab strip control. So this is the default one. Like whenever we used to create screen, by default two modules will be appear, right? So these are the two modules. So in this module, I will write the logic which is related to back. So double click on it. It will be enable us for a block. And here I will write case come when back. So whenever we click on back button, it should come to the first screen. So what is the first screen number? 100. So I will write leave to screen 100. So whenever we want to write, like it should be come to the screen, then we will write the statement called leave to screen 100, like screen number, leave to screen number. To which screen you want to come back, you need to write the screen number. If you want to move on to the next screen, we used to write a statement call screen. But if you want to come back to the previous screen, we use a statement called leave to screen number. Okay. So if you want to go to the next screen, we will write call screen number, which is the next screen. But if you want to come back to the previous screen, we will write the logic, or we will write the statement leave to screen number, meaning it will be leave from the current screen and it will go to this 100 screen. So let me close the end case. So save it, activate it, and activate the entire program. Double click on the program name, activate it. Even if you haven't activated any screen related information also, you don't get output. Once you activated, again, we'll check it in. So see, now back button is there. So if I click back, it will go to the first screen because I have written leave to screen 100. So in 100 screen, it will come back to the 100 screen. So you can see whatever I have written in the 100 screen. If I leave this one, it won't come back because I haven't written any logic. Suppose if I want to come back from the first screen also, then I will write leave to screen 0 because no screen existed. So it will come from the entire transaction code. It will go to the SAP Easy Access. So again, you will write the logic under the 100 screen number. Same, you need to write this logic, which I have written just now. Where it went. I think it went to the bottom, this one. So this screen, this logic you can write under the 100 screen also. If you want to come back from the initial screen also, you should write here like this only. But instead of 100, you have to specify 0. That's it. So any doubts?
No, Sneha.
Okay. So we have seen two events in each screen. Suppose if I double click on this 100, see two events are there. So we learned this process before output, process after input for tab strip control and table control wizard, and even simple program in the initial class. We have seen only these two events. So today I'll explain one more event also, which we used. Where is that? This one, process on value request. So mostly we use this first two only, but in few scenarios we'll use process on help request. But even this is the 1% of chance, POH. We don't use maximum. So we will work on mostly these three events only. So now I'll explain this process on value request, which is used to provide F for help for the input field. So in our scenario, what is our input field? Sales document number. So this is our input field. The name of the input field is VBAK, VBLN I have given. If I go to input screen, okay, not this one. Let me close this one. If I go to input screen, see by default F4 help is existed because I just chosen this field from data dictionary. So whenever we choose from data dictionary, if this field is already exists in the table, then we will get F4 help by default. But suppose if I create manually, there is a custom field is there. Suppose there is a requirement where we have the custom field. So to get the custom field, if there is no F for help, so we have to create it. So to achieve that, we have to use the event process on value request. So for that, I'll go to this 100 screen and I'll remove this one. I'll delete this one. I'll delete this also. I will create manually now. Same sales document number, but I don't choose from the database table. Same requirement, but I'll write manually. Suppose here I write text 1. Earlier I have written T1, now I have written text 1. Name I'm giving same. Okay, here I'll give sales document number. Okay, and to provide the input, I just create. Let me drag this one. This two. You can drag and drop. Okay. So here name, I'll take a variable name. That is LV, or else let me take VVBLN. So here I'm giving the name VVBLN. Okay. So now it is gone. So this is the input field VBELN, which I have created. And this is belongs to sales document number. Now I have saved. I will close this one and I'll activate them. Now I will activate the entire program. Let's see the input screen, whether it is changed or not. So if I, let me activate it first. If I execute in a new window, see, now it is changed as a sales document number. There is no F for help because I haven't choose from the database table. But always remember, whenever we are creating input screen, always it must have a F for help, that is user friendly, so that user can access easily the input, whatever he want to fetch from the list. But here if you see there is no F for help. So to get that F for help, we have to create the logic. See earlier there is a F for help. Where is that? Here. So this input screen or this input field I have selected from the database table. So that is the reason by default we have a F for help. But right now I created manually this one. So this doesn't have any F for help. But there is a requirement for the user along with the input. User want a F4 button also. So to achieve this, we have to go to 100 screen because that is the input screen. So in the input screen itself, so in this screen only I have created this one. In this screen only I have created this. So the logic also I have to write in the screen itself. So here what I'll do, I'll write process. So by default, two events will be appear: process before output, process after input. But POV, POH won't appear by default. We have to write manually. So the syntax is process on value request. So this is the event. Like process before output is one of the event, process after input one of the event, and process on value request, which is used to provide F for help for the field. Now, for which field you are going to put F for help? For which field? This field, right? Sales document number. So for the sales document number, what is the field name? Field name in the sense, in the screen level, which field name you have given, you need to specify. Because here itself, we want F for help, right? So we have to give the field name. So to get the field name, let me close this one. So to get the field name, let me go to the layout. And if I double click on the field, this is the field. If I double click on the field, it will visible the name of the screen element. So just to copy the name of the screen element and close it. So here you can write field, uh, field, field name is VWebler. right? So you have to give the field name. One second. Hmm. Field name and field name. Then always remember, whenever we are writing the logic in module pool program, directly this screen layout won't understand our logic. So we have to create modules. By default, these two events have the module. See, first event has module name, second event has module name, but third event which I have created, this doesn't have the module name. So I will write module name. So how we will create module name? Module name. Like perform name, how we used to create for the subroutine. Similar way, we have to create module name. So module name, I'll give F for help. So we are creating a help request, value request, not help request, value request for this field. So how this, where this field has created in 100 screen, I have created on a layout. So for that layout, we want, there is an input field called sales document. For that input field, there is no F for help. So now we are going to create F for help with the help of this event process on value request. To write the logic, we have to double click on the module name, like module name, right? So here also, if I want to write the logic, I will double click on the module name. So everything today I'm writing in the master program. You can choose new include also. And here we'll write the logic. Now what is our aim? Whenever user click on this F4 button, see only documents are visible. Sales documents are visible, right? So how this data is visible? The sales documents are existed in VBAK table. So from VBAK table, it has only sales documents numbers. Similar way, whenever we want to create custom F4 help, whenever user click on this F4 button, it should display only the column which is sales document details. It should not display from VBAK table all columns because user is entering sales document number. So it has to display only one column details, that is sales document. So how do we get only one column details? Any idea? I need to extract only one column details, like one column data. How should I get only one column data? Yes.
Select a single star.
Select a single star in the sense it will take single row, meaning,
Okay.
let me show you in S11 transaction code. Maybe AK. Select a single star means it will display single entire record, meaning single row, complete row. But I want single column like this, single column, not row, single column. Earlier, we have taken three columns: sales document, creation date, and sales document category, document date, one more field, sales document type. Four columns I have taken. But right now, for F4 help, I need only one column. So how should I write the select query?
Select VBLN from VBAK.
Very good. So if we are fetching multiple columns, we used to write select the column names like sales document number, like VBLN, ER dat, um, VB type. So we used to write like that. But right now we need only one column. So one column in the sense I need to fetch the data from only one field name, like select Veblen. That's it. From table name. So how many columns you want to fetch it, you need to write in the select query. Now I need only one column, all the records, not only one record. So what I required now, to understand you more clearly, when I click on F4 help, see, is it displaying only one record? One column is there, but multiple records are there. So Record in the sense row. 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row. Multiple rows are there. So how do we get multiple rows? What needs to be create multiple rows?
By looping.
So what do we loop it? I'm just asking you more clearly. Yes, loop we do, but for what we will do looping? Mm-hmm. So you don't get it.
Internal
See,
table.
yes, internal table. See, for 4 columns, multiple rows are there. So that is the reason I have created a structure for 4 columns. Right now, multiple rows are there, but only one column is there. So in that scenario also, I have to create structure and internal table because it has to store multiple records. See, remember, even if it is one column or multiple columns, if we need multiple rows, definitely we need to create internal table. But we will write only for one column. So that is the difference. So here I will create a structure. Types, begin of TYVBELN. So this is only for one field. End of TYVBELN. So here I will write VBLN type. This is the data element, or else you can write directly with the table name hyphen field name. So for this structure, I need to declare internal table ITVBELN type table of TYVBLN. So it will create an internal table with only one column, but it will allow us to store multiple rows. So to understand you clearly, I'll do a setting. So here I will choose the fields. I will uncheck everything and I'll check only Veblen. See, we need the information like this. So it will create like this only. If I declare the structure for only one column, it will create only one column. So this is also a table, but this table has only one column, but multiple rows are there. So internal table is nothing but combination of rows and columns. One column, multiple rows are there. So this way we have to provide. If I go to system generated F for help, see, it is same like that only now. One column, multiple rows are there. Even if I go to table, see, one column, multiple rows. So we have to be ready with this table to give the F for help. If see, before we access this F for help, we need to ready with this table, right? So that is the reason I have created in the program. So before we access or before we get F for help, first we have to be ready with the table. So now our table is ready. So to provide F for help, I need to select it. So right now I have defined the internal table, but it is empty now. But I have to fill the internal table like this. I have to fill this internal table like this. So to fill the internal table, I have to write select query. Select VBELN from VBAK into table into table internal table IT VBELN. And there is no condition because whatever the sales document numbers are there in VPAK table, those all we required because user want to see all the sales order numbers from VBAK table so that user can select any sales order number. So that is the reason in this select query there is no condition. We will select all the sales document numbers from VBAK table, then we will store in this internal table. So in this scenario, there is no where condition. Now we have written the logic like this, but we need to map it, right? So we are selecting it and we are storing in the internal table. So this internal table should be mapped with this screen element, or I can say input field. So to map the input field and our logic, we have a standard function module. So the function module name is F for if int table value request. So this will map our input field and the logic, that is our internal table. So even not only in the module pool programming, in the reports also, if there is a custom field and user want to see F for help for the custom input field, then we will do the same steps. Even if it is a report also, we used to write the same logic and we will call the same function module. So whenever we require F for help for any custom field, we used to follow the same steps. Okay. So to map the input field and F for functionality, we have to call this function module F for if int table value request. And here we need to pass few parameters. So which are uncommented directly, these are the mandatory parameters. So we need to pass it. Mm, let me pass this one later, or else I'll pass it right now itself. So return field, RET field is nothing but it is a return field. So return field in the sense, I am selecting only one field data. So that is nothing but VBELN, where it is existed in VBAK table. So in VBAK table, we have the column name that is VBELN. If I go back, see this is the field name. So this field name is VBELN. So this data only I want to see it as a F for help data. So the return field name is the required data. So the required data field name is VBELN. So here I need to specify the field name. So which field data we are going to be getting from the table. So that field name you need to specify it in the return field. And also along with that, we have to pass these parameter values also. So dyneprog is nothing but what is your current screen program name. So this is also important parameter which we need to pass it. So whenever we want to pass current program name, we should not pass this name directly. As I told you in the report concept time, I have explained you. Always remember, we should not give hard-coded program names. We have to pass dynamically. So to pass the dynamic program name, we can use scirep ID is the system variable, which is used to hold the current program name, or else we can use cprog, which is also used to return the current program name. And this is the dynpro number is nothing but screen number. Here we are using screens, right? So you need to write the screen number. But screen number also we should not hard code it like 100, 200, 201, 202. Always remember, we have to pass dynamic screen number. So for that, we have a system variable SYDYNNR. So this is written the current screen number or dynamic screen number. Okay. So this is used to pass the screen number. Even screen number also we have to pass dynamically with the system variable SYDYNNR. And this is the dynpro field. So dynpro field is nothing but for which field you are going to pass the F for help. So we need F for help here, right? So what is the name of the field? This field name is VVBLN, where I passed at the time of layout in the 100 screen. Let me show you. In the layout, if I go to this one, see what is the name I have given? VVBLN. So this logic should be mapped with the field name. So here I have to specify the field name VVBELN. So the system will be recognized. Okay, this is the input field here. So for this input field only, I need to map the F4 help. So that system will understand. And also, this is also important parameter value of. If you want to know in detail, just double click on the function module name, go to importing parameters, and here you can find it. See, Dyntrog. What is the short text? Current program name. Dyntrog number, screen number. So this we have to pass this one. See, in the program also, sorry, in the function module also they have written. And what I'm searching for, value org. So value org, if I double click on this one, the type, okay, it is a data element. In this data element, if you see value written, C is nothing but cell by cell, S is nothing but structure, meaning whenever we are going to create new F for help, we have to take the structured one, meaning we have to choose the value as S. Let me go 1 second. Let me check value range. Okay, true or false. So C is nothing but it will be written cell by cell. I haven't used this cell by cell because whenever we will create a new custom F for help, we use always S only. So I have used S only, I haven't worked on the C. So right now we are also going to create new F for help. So we have to pass the value S. So here you need to change it as yes, capital S. So when we use capital S, whenever we want to pass or whenever we are going to create new F for help for the input field. So you need to pass yes. And value table in the sense a table. So which table has the data? ITVBLN. So we are fetching single column of VBLN data from this VBAK table. Then we are storing in this internal table. So the data is existing in the internal table. So this internal table, if you pass it here, ITVBELN. So if you pass the internal table here, whenever we click on F4 button, the data will be displayed in the form of a pop-up screen like this. We no need write statement, we no need of loop statement, we no need of reuse LV grid display. So that is the reason we are using here a function module, specific function module, which is used to display F4 help data. So how the F4 help data will be displayed? With the help of this function module. F4 if int table value request. So we are here giving the return field, how the return field is there, what is our current field name, screen number, program name, and after fetching the data from the database table, where we are storing that internal table also we are passing. So, and always uncomment the exceptions. So let's see, check, activate, and let me double click on the program name, activate once again, and I'll execute in a new window. So how I have executed previous window, the input screen will be same as it is. So I'll show you that. Now see, F for help is there. Before writing this logic, this is our input screen. There is no F for help. Now after written the logic, this is our input screen. F for help is there. If I click on F for help, see, it is looks similar to the standard F for help. So this is the customized one, which I have written just now. And this is the first one, which I have selected from the database table, data dictionary. See, it is same only. So in this way, we will get the F for help. With the help of the function, sorry, with the help of event process on value request. So for this process on value request, we have a specific syntax, that is field name, field value, like field name, module name. So this we have to write ourselves. System won't be generate this function, this event name and also module name. By default, PBO, PI events will be appear along with the modules. Other than two modules, if you want to create process on help request or value request, we have to write manually. And to achieve this, like if I select anything from the database table, like if I select anything and get data, if I want to visible in the next screen, I have to change the logic in my program also, because input value I have changed VVBLN. So wherever I have used VBAK, VBLN, I should replace with VVBLN so that I will achieve it. But to get the F for help, we use this logic, like we will use the function module and event. So later on, whenever you practice, you can change it. As of now, I'm not changing anything. So just you need to remember the syntax for the event and this function module. Okay? Any doubts? Yeah, any doubts?